and we briefly discussed about different functions of research. That the most important thing of its features is that it is, you see, cyclical. It begins with a question or the problem, gathering, you see, data, analyzing them, and finding the result of what we were supposed to somehow find. And again, it ends with a question. It opens doors and horizons for other questions that remain for the other researchers. And then we came to the tools of research. And this is also very important, as one of the research is the library and also some other resources that are available. And you know that there's among, you see, the years that the first repository or primary of, you see, the books and manuscripts are kept as the documents in say, a library, and we can find some information that are available over there. Based on my experiences, I have had with some of the students. I've found that most of the students are like strangers to libraries. In fact, there are, you see, universe of knowledge comfortably can be found and contained within the shelves, you see, and walls of the library. This is important. We cannot also ignore the explosion of information occurred within the recent years, almost with every domain of human interest. Now, again, I emphasize that libraries are one of the most important facts with every researcher. Actually, it is also obvious that they certainly cannot hold all the world's information within the walls. Perhaps more important, we can say that a library person or someone in need, and they desire the place to see increasing priority on ease and speed of access to information. This is also very, again, very important because if it takes for a long to access the data and information, in response to gathering our information, it may take for more than, 2 years or 3 years to cover the research. So in this case, new technologies for storing vast amounts of information are also available in libraries like microfilms, CD rooms, online databases to argue themselves of books, of periodicals that lined within the shelves of a library. There are sometimes in all countries nowadays very big libraries full of books and information. So it is better, first of all, to be familiar with libraries. I have visited, not in my own country, with the other countries that some of the students are actually strangers to libraries. Maybe in future, some other technologies are evolved, and then there are some advances in communication, but libraries, again and again, we see that they exist among the other things as the main part and main source of collecting data. Since most of our works in the field of English literature are related thoroughly with books, for example, with uh, some text, novels, poetry, short stories, drama or plays, and with some theories, different theories: formalism, new criticism, structuralism, post-structuralism, new historicism, psychoanalysis, post-colonialism, cultural studies, new historicism, feminism, gay and lesbian theories, queer theories. So you see that most of our work are somehow restricted to text. So actually, we can find some other things, some other selections contained in the libraries, like media, video, audio, media, different forms of picture that they are specifically and very quickly in hand. So this is one of them. We have to also be familiar. Actually, there are some nets and websites that make all the information in the library available. But we have to learn something or to know something about the card catalogs in libraries. There are different drawers, index cards for each book in the library, sorted through the titles and the content descriptions of the book in each category that we somehow are interested in. These also forms nowadays are worked with computers. Uh, then one important thing is while reading the materials and information, when we are going to collect our data in the matter or area of our interest, it is better for us to make notes about the articles, about the author, about the title, about the page number, about the volume, about the date of the publication, everything. Since we are going to make all data and all the information in our research thesis documented. So in this sense, we have to be very careful about every detail. Suppose that you have read maybe in some of your free time some books without making any notes. Then maybe after some months later, you remember something, but you do not remember the title of the book, or you do not remember the author of the book. So in this sense, it is better for a researcher to make everything documented. Like the things that I mentioned, like the author, the title, and some other related information. So in today's libraries in all the world, maybe rather than these drawers of card catalog, we have rows of computer terminals and keyboards. Okay, so we have to learn how to search for related information through these systems. Uh, because accessing information quickly and efficiently is very important. So as a researcher, you have to learn something about different types of, for example, you see libraries, uh, different systems you see of libraries, how to access information. That's why I ask you and recommend you strongly to go to some of, you see, the libraries in your country, and then try to be more and more familiar with the books and the ways of accessing information. Uh, During, you see, our tour in a library, for instance, take some time. They are very simple, my dear friends, but at the same time, they are very important. So try to have short time or a tour to the libraries to visit the reference sections. That is the heart of the library for every researcher. This section in the library, okay, contain it's a large volumes that can help us somehow identify whether we are looking for see general information or whether we are looking for some specific research articles related to our fields, like you see literature. These indexes in the library and these abstracts in the libraries can help us locate your relevant titles, relevant, you see, authors, and abstracts on any topics. A college library typically provides access to a wide variety of online databases, not only indexes and abstracts, but encyclopedias, dictionaries, online journals that very often many students ignore, you see, these journals. But they are available in the libraries, in the campus you see, library itself, in institutions even, you see, around, you see, the country. So they can help us conduct our literature, for example, to collect a very suitable and strong literature review for our research, you see, thesis. There are also the reference, you see, librarian. Uh, they are there certainly to help the researchers. So they can show us the reference materials we have never even dreamed existed. So they can show us how to use uh, the systems, how to use the paper, the online databases, and the other library resources. Uh, some of the researchers do not like to approach a reference librarian because they think that they may look stupid or foolish because they say that I don't know how to use these databases. But the reality is that library sources are changing very quickly in all libraries of the world. And in fact, most of us, most of us, the researchers, cannot keep up with, you see, them. Therefore, we need very often for their librarians, you see, assistants. Okay, so we have to talk to them. We have to seek for their advices frequently, always to update, see, our information we are going to work on. Because if we are not familiar with all these, you see, systems in libraries, how can we conduct our, you see, project? For example, to write a research paper, to write, you see, a thesis, in future to write our dissertation. Because most of us may think that, okay, through internets we can go and find some, for example, reviews on these books, and merely these reviews are sufficient for our research. But no, we need always to contact, to see, the librarian, and at the same time, an important research skill is browsing the library. See, physically, for example, walking among the stocks, browsing, even sometimes you see electronically through the entries in the library's computer catalog or computer sections. Hence, books are coded and arranged at the library shelves in accordance with, you see, two principal systems for classification of all knowledge. That is, you see, the Dewey Decimal Classification System and the Library of Congress system. The Dewey Decimal Classification System, books are cataloged and shelved according to 10 basic areas of human knowledge, and some, you see, sub-areas, each divided somewhat decimally. So we have to know about it, even about the LC classification, or Library Congress or Library of Congress, assigned to particular areas of human knowledge that are given special alphabetical categories. So again, it is necessary to know about these two different systems, and do not fear of going to librarians and ask, see, for help. For example, you see, art in Library of Congress is, you see, N, for example. But in the other type is, you see, 700, based on, you see, the numbers, and Library of Congress based on alphabets. Like, for example, education is L, and 370 in Dewey, and L in Library of Congress. With English literature, for Dewey system is 820. For Library of Congress, English literature is PR. They are the main, you see, areas. So under different things, so they have been classified and categorized. Different, when you go to library, very often you remember all these, you see, systems, and very quickly you are able, you see, to learn. For example, language is P, American literature is PS, English PR. Okay, so very quickly those you need, we can learn them very quickly. 800 in Dewey system, P, for example, in Library of Congress for literature. Another thing that you also know is, you see, the computer is the software
again as a tool of our research. We know that computers now can be found, you see, in hand everywhere, but it still has an aura of mystery. Since there are, you see, variety of things every day are added as, you see, different tools or different options to computers. Uh, like any tool, it is so powerful, or computers are so powerful, but they have, in fact, their own limitations, you see, as well. Since computers are not human brains, again, I come to the point that one of the most important thing is, you see, the human brain. Okay, computers are good when we are going to calculate something, when we are going to compare something, when we are going to, for example, you see, sort and organize something accurately. Computers, in this case, are very, you see, intelligent, sometimes more intelligent than human brain. Hmm? But they are machines, all right? They depend on a person to give them directions about, see, what to do. Because they cannot do thinking for us. Sometimes, yes, it is good when we need some statistics, and this may happen in some of the, you see, searches, for example, when we are going to, for example, assess the, for instance, the frequency of some of the words in a text. For example, how many times death has been repeated in this, for example, novel? How many times love had been repeated in this, say, poem, for example? Then yes, we give them to the computers. Then statistically, the computer can measure all these instances, but they are not able to analyze this information. Uh, However, they are very fast and they are very faithful assistants. Look at your hand phones. Are you able to memorize all the numbers of your friends? Actually, no. But in this case, we trust our hand phones, and we may have more than 200, 500, 1,000 number of our friends, which are telephone numbers, at this pocket, let's say, you see, hand phone. And very easily, all the informations are available. We are able to sortify all this information, for example, alphabetically or in some other cases, to find our information or our contact number, you see, very quickly within a very short search. So in this case, they are very great and strong, see, assistance for us. We also have to be learn about different web page or websites, since we through these, you see, websites, we can read in much the same way we read the pages of a book. Uh, Actually, it is more difficult than reading a book, but sometimes, you see, there are some audio books, okay, in the car or in our working place, or when we are walking in the streets. It is very easy to use headsets and headphones to listen to the audiobooks very easily. We are walking and at the same time we are listening to some information. We are driving and we are listening to some information. Hmm? These are the facilities added in the world of information. Okay, but if we search some necessary, for instance, you see worldwide webs, like the web pages of some universities, for example, the access to, for instance, British Library. So it is better in your free time to browse through these websites, how to enter these websites, how to connect information, how to move information uh, uh, by using, you see, the search engine, like you see Google. But for a researcher, the first step can be a Google or Google Scholar to access general information. Hmm? Yahoo, I don't know, you see Google, Alta Vista, and some others, but they are not well, you see, documented, that can be used completely for our research. Okay, then mail even, mail, electronic mail, email. This also allow us to communicate very quickly with you see other people. During some researches, you can maybe have a very close contact with, you see, an author of the book, or with the your, you see, theoretician. Maybe they are alive at this time, so you can contact them through email and address them to help you for, you see, your information, to see whether you are moving on the right path or not. Through very, you see, single message, it is possible, even through, you see, WhatsApp, Telegram, and other, you see, facilities nowadays that are available. So we can send a message through all these different, you see, systems, and receive our it's the answer very quickly. Uh, so learning how to access the internet is also very important. If we don't know how to access information through internet, all right. For example, learn the netcom, hmm? uh, literature, like other, you see, websites. We have to, again, you see, browse through different websites and then learn how to find information, how to contact different or collect different information through these you see, websites. So we have to do it practically before beginning our serious, say, research in the field that we are interested in. So this is also as a very important tools of research. There are some other tools, like, you see, measurement, but maybe it is related to some other field, like the students of say, education, or those students of literature are going to find something in between say, literature and education, literature and psychology, literature and mathematics, you see, even. So they have to go and find something, you see, the measurement, uh, and then learn something in this case, you see, as well. There are different, see, skills of measurement that, okay, that they are not completely related to our field, and most of the researchers are descriptive and qualitative. Therefore, there is no need to go to some measures. And in such cases, also something that is used in our field is to see the validity of our research and reliability of our research. By validity and reliability, that there are two words that are used very repeatedly in research methodology for measuring, you see, things, even in our field that is mostly, you see, descriptive. Since they are, for example, the instrument of our measurement, that if the other researcher is going to do it, as the validity and also the reliability, exactly follow the same rules, the same strategies, what we always see mean, uh, then for them the same thing happens. The consistency in our measuring instruments. So the results are entirely, you see, the same when they are measured absolutely like the measurements or the tools that we have used. And if the measures are changed, again, we see that the other elements also change. There are some other tools like statistics that not primarily, again, relevant to our field. Now I like to make one of the most important tools of our research, that is our brain, our mind. You remember that I told you uh, we need to collect information. Okay, but what shall we do with this information? We are going to evaluate information. We are going to analyze the information. All right. So we see that even if we have very intelligent and powerful and faithful computer, they are not able to analyze and criticize this information. They are able to find number of things, but they are not able to analyze. Even if our research has been done statistically, they give us the numbers, but this is our mind. This is our brain that is able to what? To analyze information, that is able to interpret the data, and through this data takes us to a logical conclusion, to the meaning extract from this information. This is done only through the mind of a researcher. Okay, for example, we are going to apply, for example, a theory to different novels. For example, a Lacanian reading of, okay, this novel. We get information to this novel. We apply Lacan's theory or different features of Lacan's theory to this novel. But whether a machine or a computer can analyze this information the way, see how to interpret, how to evaluate, how to appreciate all this information? Actually, no. So this is our mind. Based on our understanding, based on our insight, based on our power of interpretation, based on our knowledge. Okay? So this is the researcher's mind that is able to do all these features. There are, okay, if we read see lots of books, if we are knowledgeable in our field, this is one of the strategies that can help us make use of this information. There are some strategies as deductive logic, begin with one or more premises. The premises are a statement or assumptions that are self-evident and widely accepted truth. For example, if all tulips are plants, the first premise, and if all plants produce energy through photosynthesis, premise 2, then we can conclude that all tulips must produce energy through photosynthesis. This is the conclusion, yes? There are two different premises, all right? If all novels are by Sophocles, all plays are by Sophocles, and if Antigone is by Sophocles, we can say or conclude that nearly all such plays that they are in this sense written by Sophocles. One or two is the premises, two premises at least, and then a concluding part. Another one that is inductive reasoning. It begins not with, let's say, a truth or an assumption, with an observation. This is the difference between, these two. In this type, we somehow try to draw conclusions about the entire classes of objects or events. For example, we observe, we see a sample, then draw conclusion about the population with different types. Another part of a research tool is this, that a good researcher needs critical thinking. So we have a look at research studies and theoretical perspective related to the topic of our interest. We have to research findings, theories at first value. We have to scrutinize through these assumptions, questioning weaknesses in methodology, appropriate analysis, inappropriate analysis. So we need critical thinking in every field we are going to work. In general, critical thinking involve what? Involve evaluating information or arguments in terms of their accuracy and worth. I repeat it. Critical thinking involves evaluating information. How to evaluate information. How to argue in terms of its accuracy. One important thing as tools of research is collaborating with others. sometimes we want to hide all things we are supposed to do. But remember, if we do something, for example, to write a letter, a research paper, and we ask one of our friends that is experienced or more experienced, you see, than me in this field, all right, have a look at it, and then let us know about his perspectives on this work, his idea or ideas, you see, on this work. Then it can help us. Sometimes we do not like to give it to our friends because we are in a fear of, for example, stupidity. Okay, he doesn't know this. We are afraid of it. Don't worry. Ask your friend to go through it once, then write his own notes. We are able to go through the notes, and later on we can change the paper or try to correct it. Maybe in some cases we read it quickly, we are doing it in haste, therefore we may miss something in our paper. It is better to ask some others, as it is, there is a very famous saying, two hands are better than one. Two hands are better than one. So if there are some sorts of collaboration with others, we can still make a better job. We are able to cover the deficiencies of our work. The last thing is, see, the language. If we are weak in language, it means that we are weak in our communication. If we know the language, every language we know effectively, like English language, since you are going to write your thesis in English, so try to make yourselves better in writing, better in speaking, better in communication. So if we start writing our thesis, and the first glance the reader faces lots of problems in your writing, you see, it is not a good thing, especially the students at this stage. So those students who think that they are weak in this case, try to improve your knowledge, try to remove your weaknesses. And if it is in grammar, okay, try to correct it. If it is in, I don't know, words, try to improve your knowledge of, you see, words. So this is very important. Today, you see, I stop here. For our next session, we try to talk about you see, the problem, how to find a problem. There are different strategies, and little by little, we go to our practical, you see, task to give us your problem, to talk about it, whether it is suitable or not, about different parts of your thesis, and how to write, see, an article. We will discuss later on about these features. I establish here. If there is any question, I wait to see for 1 minute if you have question, and if there is not any question, I say goodbye to you. Okay. Thank you very much.